Hello children, I hope you are all happy and safe. Welcome to this special English hour. Here, every day, we will learn something new in a fun and interesting way. We will sing, dance, listen to stories and have lots of fun together. Are you ready to have fun? Then please stand up and join me in a dance.
Paper boat, sail away. Whoosh, a little here, whoosh, a little there. Pitter patter, here it comes. Everywhere we go, let's chop, chop, chop. Little red umbrella, don't fly away. Whoosh, no, no. Whoosh, no, no. Pitter patter, here it comes. Everywhere we go, let's chop, chop, chop. Pretty little rainbow, will you dance with me? Whoosh, a spin. Whoosh, a twirl. Pitter patter, here it comes. Everywhere we go, let's chop, chop, chop.
Children, now I would like to ask you a few questions. Let us share our thoughts and ideas. Children, can you tell me the names of TV shows that you have seen? I believe most of you must be watching cartoon TV shows, right? Children, in these cartoon TV shows, have you ever come across puppets? I believe you may have seen puppets, but let me tell you what puppets are. Puppets look like toys. They may resemble human figures or animals or some imaginary character. They are dressed very fancily so that the audience likes their appearance. Children, who manages these puppets? Can they talk and move on their own? No, puppets cannot move by themselves, nor can they speak by themselves. It is a puppeteer who manipulates, manages the movement of puppets. It is a human being who speaks for the puppets. This person is called a puppeteer. Okay, children, can any of you guess how a puppeteer manages a puppet? A puppeteer uses strings and rods to move the puppet's hands, legs, body and head, even mouth at times, to make the audience feel that the puppet is live and talking. Of late, there are also puppets that can be controlled using a remote control. They are also used in shows. So children, can you tell me what are puppets used for? Puppets are used to entertain the public and also for educating them by storytelling. Puppets are a very famous way of attracting people's attention and giving them important messages. Children enjoy watching puppets. Would you also like to know more about them? Then come, let me share a story with you today about a puppet. Children, now I would like to share with you a few new words and try to explain their meaning. We will find these new words in the lesson that we'll be reading today. The first word is naughty. 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 The naughty little boy broke the glass. The naughty girl stole the book. Next word, obey. 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 To obey means to follow. Obey your elders. Mother said, obey your father. Next word, wicked. 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 Rahul was a wicked and bad boy. The wicked witch did not leave her ways. Next word, frightened. 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 The cat was frightened by the dog. The little children were frightened of the old man. Amazement. 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 Rani smiled in amazement, looking at the fairy. The old woman's face lit up with amazement. Children, I hope you liked learning these new words. We will also come across these words in the lesson that we'll be reading today. Children, we will be reading a very interesting lesson today. The title of the lesson is Pinocchio. If you have a textbook, please open to page number 77 and point to the words as I read. If you don't have a textbook, please listen to me carefully and watch your TV screens. Pinocchio. Long, long ago, there lived a king. You will say immediately, no children, you are mistaken. Once upon a time, there was a piece of wood, a common block of firewood. It was found in the shop of a carpenter. But whenever he put his tools to the block to cut it, to carve it, or to scrape it, it began to talk. Oh, that hurt! Don't break me, please! Oh, that tickles! Just then, his neighbor, Geppetto, came in to ask for a piece of wood. Geppetto wanted to make a wooden puppet that could run, jump and make its way around the world. So, the carpenter readily gave the piece of wood to Geppetto. So, children, what is this story about? This story is about a wooden block. It was a common wooden block, but there was something unique about it. Every time the carpenter would put its tools on the wooden block to scrape it, carve it, or cut it, the wooden block would start talking. It would say, "Oh, please don't cut me, don't break me. Oh, that tickles." The wooden block would actually talk. So the carpenter was not able to work on the wooden block. The carpenter's neighbor, Geppetto, one day came over and said, "I need a wooden block. I want to make a puppet out of it. A puppet that can run, jump, and go around the world." So the carpenter readily gave him this same wooden block. Geppetto brought the piece home and carved it into a puppet lovingly. As he had no family, he began to think of the puppet as his son and named him Pinocchio. But Pinocchio was quite a naughty puppet. As soon as Geppetto taught it to walk, he ran out of the hut. He ran so fast that Geppetto could not catch him. A policeman caught him and brought him back to Geppetto. Geppetto took the wooden block home and carved a beautiful puppet out of it. Geppetto had no family, so he thought of the puppet as his own son. Geppetto taught the puppet how to walk, but the puppet was very naughty. The puppet ran out of the hut, and it ran so fast that Geppetto could not catch it. Then the policeman caught hold of the puppet and brought it back to Geppetto. Though Pinocchio was such a naughty puppet, Geppetto loved him dearly. He would do anything for his son. But Pinocchio was not always nice to his father. He always promised to be a good boy and tell the truth and obey his father. But more often than not, he forgot all his promises. Pinocchio's father loved him dearly and was ready to do anything for him. But Pinocchio was a naughty puppet. He would always promise to obey his father and always say the truth. But more often than not, he would forget all his promises. Pinocchio wanted to be a real boy, a real son to his father, and not just a wooden puppet. He meant well, but he was only a little wooden puppet and did silly things he should not have done. You can read about all his antics in a book called The Adventures of Pinocchio. But here are some of them in short. Pinocchio thought he would go to school, learn reading in a day, writing the next day, and then arithmetic on the day after that. Then he planned to earn a lot of money for Geppetto. Geppetto felt very happy that Pinocchio wanted to go to school. But he did not have the money for the school book. Though it was very cold, poor Geppetto sold his only coat to get the money for Pinocchio's school book. Pinocchio started for school. On the way, he came upon a puppet show. He forgot all about his plans to go to school. The naughty puppet that he was, he sold his school book and with that money bought a ticket to the show. When Pinocchio entered the puppet theatre, the puppets on the stage saw him. They were very happy to see their brother. They forgot their play and began to call out to him. In 2 leaps, Pinocchio was on the stage. They all began to hug and slap one another on the back and jump and clap. People who had come to see the play did not like this interruption at all. They began to shout. The puppet master was very annoyed. He decided to throw Pinocchio into the fire. Pinocchio's puppet friends pleaded with the puppet master not to do that. Then, instead of Pinocchio, the puppet master chose another puppet for throwing into the fire. So Pinocchio had plans to go to school and study and earn a lot of money for Geppetto. Geppetto heard all of Pinocchio's plans and was very happy. Geppetto was very poor. He did not have money for Pinocchio's school books. So, even though it was very cold, Geppetto sold his only coat just to get a school book for Pinocchio. Pinocchio went to school happily. But on the first day itself, on his way to the school, he saw a puppet show. Pinocchio wanted to see the puppet show. So he sold the school book and took a puppet show ticket instead. Pinocchio had forgotten all about the plans he had made with his father Geppetto. As soon as the puppets on the stage see Pinocchio, they forget about the show and call out to Pinocchio. They feel very happy to find their brother. They all start hugging each other and slapping each other on the back. Then the crowd gets angry and they start shouting. The puppet master gets very angry and pulls up Pinocchio and wants to throw him into the fire. The other puppets plead to the puppet master to not do this. So the puppet master picks up another puppet and throws him into the fire. Now Pinocchio was really good at heart. He was sorry for the other puppet. Very gallantly he told the puppet master that he was ready to burn in the fire himself and the puppet master should spare the other puppet's life. The puppet master was not really a wicked master. He let both the puppets go. Not only that, he also gave Pinocchio 5 gold coins for his old father Geppetto when he heard his story. Now, did Pinocchio take these coins to Geppetto immediately? No, the silly little puppet that he was, he got into more and more mischief and trouble due to the coins. A kind fairy saved Pinocchio from the robbers who had caught Pinocchio for the coins. But when the fairy asked Pinocchio about the coins, he lied to her. But then a strange thing happened. The moment Pinocchio told a lie, his nose grew longer. With every lie, it grew longer and longer. Pinocchio was really frightened. He asked the fairy to forgive him and promised never to tell lies again. Pinocchio did not learn to tell the truth or listen to the good advice of his friends and his father and the fairy easily. So, at the end of a number of adventures, do you know where he found himself? At the bottom of the sea. Pinocchio had asked the fairy for forgiveness and promised never to say lies again. But Pinocchio never learnt to obey anyone. He would never listen to the good advice from his friends, his father, or even from the fairy. Pinocchio landed up in lots of troubles. And then you know, finally where he was found? He was at the bottom of the sea. Let's see what happens there. And there he was swallowed by a big shark that was 1 mile long. Poor Pinocchio! Now, at last, he was truly sorry for all the foolish things that he had done. But once you get into a difficulty, it's not very easy to get out of it. At the bottom of the sea, there was a big shark ready to swallow Pinocchio. Pinocchio was feeling very sorry for all the foolish things he had done. But once you get into trouble, it's not easy to get out of it. However, inside the stomach of the shark, Pinocchio saw a faint light. When he went near the light, surprise of surprises, he found Geppetto. Geppetto had been worried about Pinocchio since he had left home. He had searched for Pinocchio far and wide. During the search, the shark had swallowed the ship on which Geppetto was traveling. With great effort and courage, Pinocchio took himself and Geppetto out of the shark's stomach. He carried Geppetto back to the shore. After that, Pinocchio really proved to be a good boy. He began to work very hard to help Geppetto. When he heard that the fairy was ill, he sent her all the money that he was saving for himself. And then, to his joy and amazement, he found that he had turned into a real boy. Who did Pinocchio find inside the big shark's stomach? Pinocchio was inside the big shark's stomach and he found his father Geppetto there. Geppetto had been looking for Pinocchio for a very long time. The shark had swallowed the ship in which Geppetto was traveling while he was looking for Pinocchio. That's how Geppetto landed up in the shark's stomach. Pinocchio took a lot of trouble and freed himself and Geppetto from the shark's stomach. He got Geppetto out of the shark and safely onto a shore. Then Pinocchio really turned into a good puppet. He helped his father Geppetto day and night. One day he came to know that the fairy had fallen ill. He sent all the money that he had saved up for himself to the fairy. And you know what? Pinocchio turned into a real boy. Children, I hope you all liked today's session. I would now request you to please share the story of Pinocchio the puppet with your friends and family. Children, you can also try to make a sock puppet on your own. Children, till we meet next time, please take care. Bye bye and stay safe.